Hi there, welcome to my channel. There's no way I'm going to explain this to you because I don't fully understand it myself. I'm just going to try to tell you about it. Do you remember that song by U2? One of their first big hits, actually, about a man who dies trying to rob a house but is killed by the owner? It's called The Desire Formula. The Desire Formula, wealth and guilt at stake. How much money would you have to pay me to sleep with you? I don't know why I asked him that. I guess because I wanted to test his reaction, see what he would say. Instead of laughing it off, which is what I expected, he gave me a serious answer. $100,000, he said without hesitation. I repeated the question in disbelief. I wasn't prepared for such a straightforward reply. He didn't seem to be joking either. That was the beginning of a long, strange conversation between two strangers who met by chance in a bar. A few days earlier, I had been out with my girlfriends, celebrating one of their birthdays. We were having so much fun. And when we got back from the club around 4 a.m., I stopped by a 24-hour diner to grab some food. That's when I saw him sitting alone in a booth nursing a coffee. He was tall and handsome, dressed like a Wall Street broker, even though it was obvious that he wasn't from around here. I found out that he lived in a luxury high-rise downtown. He worked in finance and was in town for a business conference. When I asked him where he was from, he said, "A place where everyone is really nice to you if you can get them something." So I asked him how much money would it take for me to sleep with him. "You want the bad boy, huh?" he asked, smiling. "Let's play that game. What do you want?" I asked. 50 grand, he said. I laughed and told him that I wasn't that desperate, but he insisted, saying that he could make it worth my while if I just gave him my number. We started dating soon after that first meeting at the diner. He took me to expensive restaurants and hotels where nothing was too good for me. He also treated me like a queen, showering me with gifts and compliments. In fact, he spoiled me so much that it made me feel uncomfortable. Still, I couldn't help but get drawn to him and his lifestyle. After we'd been seeing each other for a few weeks, he told me that he was getting ready to go home because his job had taken him away for too long. I felt relieved and secretly pleased with myself because I'd managed to convince him to stay with me for a few more days. It was working out well for me. He had lots of money and spent freely, making sure that I didn't want for anything. But one day he told me that he needed some time alone. "I need a break," he said. "Don't worry, I'll call you later." I knew that meant I wouldn't see him again, but I still acted surprised when the phone call never came. 2 days went by before I received a text message from him. "I'm sorry, I can't see you again," it read. "It's not you, it's me. You deserve someone better than I am." My breath caught in my throat. Was this it? Had he suddenly fallen out of love with me? I was confused, hurt, and angry. Why would he treat me this way after all I'd done for him? As I sat there staring at the phone, another message popped up. "Meet me at our usual spot tonight at midnight. I need to talk to you." What was he up to now, I thought, feeling both excited and scared. I wondered if he was going to propose or break up with me. Either way, I knew that I couldn't refuse. So at midnight, I found myself sitting across from him in the same diner where we'd met. He looked tired and drawn, and he apologized for not calling me sooner. "I needed time to sort things out in my head," he said. "And what did you decide?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "I want to be with you," he said. "You mean that?" I asked, surprised. "Of course," he replied. "Why wouldn't I?" I stared at him, not knowing what to say. Suddenly, tears welled up in my eyes. I had never felt so much pain before. "You don't understand," I whispered. "What do you mean?" he asked. "Nothing," I said quickly, wiping away my tears. "It's just that I haven't seen you in a while. I missed you." He reached out to touch me, but I pulled away. "Don't," I said. "What?" he asked. Confused. "Please," I begged, "don't touch me, not now." He looked hurt and angry, and for a moment I thought he was going to get up and walk out. but instead he stayed seated. "Why are you doing this to me?" he finally asked, his voice low. "I don't know," I said. "I just can't let you go. I love you too much." I felt sick with guilt after I said that. Why would I say something so stupid? Now he really would leave, and I would be left with nothing but memories. But he didn't get up. Instead, he leaned closer and asked, "Do you really love me?" "Of course," I lied. "Then prove it." I knew what he was asking, but I refused to give in. I had come too far to turn back now. If I wanted him, I had to earn it. He got up, walked out of the diner, and drove away. I watched him go, feeling defeated. I hadn't won him back, but maybe I would see him again soon, or maybe he'd come back to me when he realized that I was the only one who understood him. The next morning, I woke up early and decided to go for a run in the park. As I jogged along the path, I thought about everything that had happened over the past few weeks. It seemed like a dream, yet it felt so real. I couldn't believe that I had almost lost him, but I knew that I had to do everything possible to get him back. That's when I remembered something he had told me during one of our conversations. He had mentioned a place where he lived alone, away from the prying eyes of others. It was a remote cabin in the woods where he could relax and be himself. I didn't know the exact location, but I was determined to find it. Maybe if I showed up at his doorstep, he would forgive me, and we could start over. With renewed determination, I began searching online for clues. Finally, I found it. A secluded cabin nestled in the heart of the forest. The photos online didn't do it justice. It looked even more stunning in person. As I approached the front door, I hesitated for a moment, wondering what he would say when he saw me. Would he welcome me with open arms, or would he slam the door in my face? Taking a deep breath, I knocked. A few moments passed before the door opened. Standing before me was none other than him, looking more handsome than ever. But his expression was unreadable. "Can I help you?" he asked. His voice sounded cold and distant. "Is this a bad time?" I asked, hoping that he would invite me inside. Instead, he shook his head. "No, it's fine. Come in." I stepped past him and entered the cabin. As I looked around, I realized that it was empty. There was no furniture except for a couch and a TV. On the wall hung a large painting of a forest. In the corner sat a table covered with papers and books. The place felt sterile and lifeless. Where was the warm, inviting atmosphere that I had imagined? He joined me and said, "This isn't my permanent residence. I just come here occasionally to get away from it all." "So you live somewhere else?" I said. "Yes," he replied. "I do." A sudden realization dawned on me. This wasn't just a vacation home, it was a secret one. He had deliberately concealed its existence from me. I turned to him and asked, "Have you been hiding something from me?" "What do you mean?" he said, taken aback. "Why didn't you tell me about this place? You've been seeing someone else, haven't you?" The color drained from his face. "No, I haven't," he stammered. "Then why did you lie to me?" I demanded. "I wasn't lying, it's just that—" He stopped speaking, unable to meet my gaze. In that moment, I knew that he was guilty. But of what exactly? Had he been deceiving me all along? Was our relationship nothing but a sham, or was there more to the story? I needed answers, but he wasn't willing to provide them. Frustrated, I stormed out of the cabin and headed back to my car. As I drove away, I couldn't shake off the feeling that I had been betrayed. But by whom? Him or myself? What did he have to hide? And why did he think that I wouldn't understand? Determined to uncover the truth, I resolved to investigate further. I had a feeling that there was more to this enigmatic man than met the eye. And I was determined to find out the whole truth, no matter the cost. So the next time you're alone in your car, listening to a podcast, try this trick. Ask your companion, how much money would it take for me to sleep with you? Who knows? You might just learn something new about yourself and the people around you.